Okay, so we are going to move into this next section of Chapter 5, Principles of Management course. So we are 5.2a, Mature Market Economies and Systems. We're reviewing Section 1 of 3. Market economy. An economy based on the private ownership of business that allows market factors such as supply and demand to determine business strategies. Examples are United States, Canada, Japan, United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Sweden. Okay, they rely on market forces in allocation of resources, characterized by private ownership of property. Okay, next is figure 5.2, the global economy. I'll just describe what it looks like since you can't see my screen. And, I appreciate, I want to mention to my viewers, I appreciate your patience, tolerance, what have you, for my very rudimentary basic setup. We plan to have a probably, better studio setup, and I'll go over the books and I'll show you what the titles are and whatnot. We have a few different ones. I'm going to probably be doing reflection pieces, reviews, and whatnot. So as we progress and grow, you'll see the change in how we set everything up. But let's get back to this. So the global economy is dominated by three relatively mature market systems. As illustrated here, these market systems consist of North America, Europe, especially the United Kingdom, and those nations in the European Union. The Pacific Asia, parts of which are high potential / high growth economies. Other areas of Asia, as well as Africa and South America, have the potential for future growth, but currently play a relatively small role in the global economy. The Middle East region plays a major role in the global petroleum market. So it's kind of a quick review or overview of which different areas, different countries dominate and what their markets are. Section 2.3, market systems, clusters of countries that engage in high levels of trade with one another. Oh, also, just to let you guys know, I'm a cigar smoker. Saturday afternoon, I enjoy a little cigar and a little taste of the devil's nectar, spirits, and enjoying my academia. I think it's important to enjoy it leisurely. Not that I'm advocating smoking, but down to earth, I want to have a personal relationship with my viewers. I want them to kind of have an insight of who I am and kind of what I'm trying to do. This is personal to me, and human resources is definitely something that I'm personally interested in. And so you guys are getting a first-hand look at, well, not physically me, but the man behind the camera. Okay, back to our section 2 out of 3, North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, an agreement made by the United States, Canada, and Mexico in 1993 to promote trade with one another. This agreement was replaced in 2020 by the USMCA, United States-Mexico Canada Agreement, a new treaty signed in 2018 that is in the process of replacing NAFTA. Section 3.3, Mature Market Economies and Systems, European Union, the first and most important international market system. (27 member nations). 11 countries eliminated their home currencies and adopted a common currency, the euro. 8 others have since done the same. Not all countries are as equally developed, which has slowed and complicated the relationship. Pacific Asia, a market system located in Southeast Asia. China, currently the second largest economy in the world. Okay, we have our knowledge check. Which economy is currently the largest in the world? We just read that China's the second, so we know it's not China. My hypothesis, I shouldn't say guess, I should say hypothesis, would either be the United States or the European Union. I'd say let's try the European Union. Oh, no, I was wrong. United States. The United States is the largest economy in the world, followed by China. As I study and learn, I actually like to use the knowledge checks in each section, in each chapter. I think if you break it up, it makes it a lot more digestible and palatable. I think it gives you a chance to practice the information and let it make a mark on you as you learn it. 5.2b, high potential, high growth economies. High potential, high growth. Underdeveloped and immature economies, characterized by weak industry, weak currency, and relatively poor consumers. China, India, Brazil, Russia, Vietnam, and South Africa. India is emerging as a major force in the global economy. Currently experiencing strong development and growth. Barriers to international trade. Consumers' lack of wealth and underdeveloped infrastructure. Next, 5.2c, other economies. The Middle East defies classification. These countries hold tremendous wealth, yet are politically unstable and exhibit vast cultural differences. Countries involved in political or ethnic violence are poor business risks. Cuba offers a unique opportunity, as it is the only now emerging into the outside world. That is interesting. I guess this would be a piece of finance insight, but a lot of guys, a lot of money on the street used to want to set up over in Cuba. A lot of stuff with extradition and safety and whatnot. And that's across the board. Up and down the ladder. Low-level guys, high-level guys. That was something that a lot of people were interested in. I don't have an opinion whether it was right or wrong ethically, or what, whatever endeavors they were involved in, but I know a lot of guys back in the day definitely had interest in Cuba. The relations between Cuba and, like I said, the outside world have changed, though. Okay, the last bulletin, developing economies have great potential but require large investments in distribution centers, systems, and they run the risk of major policy changes that can distort the value of investment. Okay. 5.2d, the role of the GATT and the WTO. GATT stands for General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Negotiated in an effort to avoid trade wars. Intended to promote international trade by reducing trade barriers. Major stimulus to international trade after ratification in 1948 by 23 countries. Identify with most favored nation principle. If a country extends preferential treatment to a country, the same preferential treatment must be extended to all signatories of the agreement. Now this is going to be an interesting concept. We'll probably revisit somewhere in human resources too. We're looking to develop human resource consulting. So there is a slew of courses, content topics, areas of academics that the human resource professional needs to be familiar with to be adequately prepared in the managerial business role. Employment law is huge, and we intend to focus in on spectrums and areas of employment law and how it affects our communities, how it affects our jobs, day-to-day life, and how we all interact with each other. How we all interact is related to our psyche, so we're going to talk about a lot of different areas of academia and how they all interconnect. Kind of give you a background too on why your business curriculum will, or major will look the way it is, why it's structured the way it is. So, MFN principle, it kind of keeps things pretty fair. You can't look out for nobody too crazy. It has to be fair. Keeps everything even keel. And at worst, if you give somebody a deal and everybody gets it, then, it kind of keeps people from going too far and overcharging others. I think it's necessary when you look at unpreferred communities, unpreferred structures, marginalized demographics, could be left out of negotiations, could be left out on opportunities and whatnot. I'm not going to get too crazy into that, but you know what I'm talking about. And how it works, So that is definitely a facet of human resources. So that's why a lot of this relates. So you need to be familiar with these topics. So the next is the World Trade Organization. 164 member nations, 23 observer countries. Requires members to open their markets to international trade and follow WTO rules. To promote trade flow by encouraging nations to adopt non-discriminatory and predictable trade policies, to reduce remaining trade barriers to unilateral negotiations, to establish impartial procedures for resolving trade disputes. Issues of ethics, got to be fair. It's important. These structures, if followed, that apply to everyone, should give everyone a fair shot. So human resources make sure that these rules are observed. Depending on what sector you work in, you might come across this. So we got our first, or I should say our second discussion question. The World Trade Organization includes 164 member nations and 23 observer nations. The goal of the World Trade Organization is to promote trade, and it plays a major role in the global economy. Why might some disagree with the mission and practices of the WTO? Is there anything that might be done to eliminate those things they might not agree with, they might disagree with? Why or why not? Okay. Give you a few minutes to think about it. I'm going to see what I think. I might review review my discussion question in another video, and maybe I will include it in my reflection report, because this is probably going to be something that I see again, so I'd like to have it referenced somewhere. So I encourage you to hypothesis and write it down, and kind of, if you're taking this course in this structure, to understand it. Figure 5.3, environmental challenges of international management. Economic environment, economic systems, natural resources, and infrastructure. This is a figure, I'll describe it. In time, maybe I will make a video of the PowerPoint instead of me just narrating it. That's something maybe I'll include. Or, like I said, that PDF can be referenced and you can follow along. But this is content for somebody that wants to listen to audio of a lecture. All right, we're going to stop it here, take a break, and pick back up.